Hello, Aquarius. This is your mid-December reading. So let's jump right in. And, we are always, not always, but asking the question, what wants to come through for Aquarius? I like keeping it really open like that. Yeah, so we're asking what wants to come through for Aquarius. What's important for Aquarius to know right now? What wants to be known for Aquarius? And so far we have the King of Wands, Death, High Priestess, and let's get one more. Let's get one more for Aquarius. One more for Aquarius. There we go. Okay. So what wants to be known for Aquarius? Wow, this is okay. So, got some major arcana here. Death and Rebirth, the High Priestess, and the Judgment card for Aquarius. And the King of Wands, of course. Immediately I'm just really feeling like this, whatever this thing is that you're working on, because the King of Wands is very much about taking action, really doing, taking action towards the things that drive him, that he or she feels passionate about. And I love this particular King of Wands cards because it's just so confident. And for some reason the lion has really been becoming, it's almost like I never saw it before, but it's been coming very prominent when this card pops up. And so it's like it just kind of really emphasizes this, idea that this thing that you're working on, right? Or this thing that you're moving towards, this passion project of yours, and it could be a job, it could be building a business, it could be a hobby, it could be all kinds of different things, but whatever this is, it's something that requires strength. The lion is the symbol of strength. And so it always kind of gives me the vibe of it, like really not being the easiest thing to do, but yet, you remain strong and you push for it and you do it anyway. But, having all of these major arcana coming up with this is really communicating that, this thing that you're doing, right? This passion driven action is much larger than it appears, right? So it's not just the thing itself. It's like there's all of this other energy surrounding it that makes it much bigger than, just the thing itself, right? Just the project itself, or just the hobby itself, or just the work itself. It's much bigger. Death and rebirth is a transformational energy, right? So it's like really feels like, this archetype of the King of Wands that you have stepped into, is a real transformation. I feel like the King of Wands is not necessarily an energy that you have been very familiar with in the past. Aquarius is very kind of like, the energy of Aquarius, it's air, right? So it's more ethereal. It's a lot of mind work, and this feels like very physical work, right? Even though it's the King of Pentacles, that would kind of indicate more physical, right? Pentacles are more physical. The King of Wands here is the one who is actually working, doing the work, taking the action, doing the movements, right? And I feel like it's been a real transformation for you to step into this energy, okay? So whatever you did to get here, right on, because it is bringing you all kinds of places, including connecting with your intuition. So whatever this passion driven action is, it's not only creating transformation within you, it's not only allowing you to step into a different archetype that you may have never really fully embodied before. It's also really saying, it's like it's bringing you to your higher self. It's bringing you to a place where you are really connecting with your spirit. You are really connecting with your higher knowing. You're really just, man, just like really changing and evolving into this next level person. And you know it. You know it because the judgment card is here also. And like you are rising, from the flesh and, moving up into the next level, right? It's like this crossover from the third dimension, into the fourth dimension, and then finally into the fifth dimension, right? Like you are definitely leveling up here, so this is really exciting, Aquarius. I mean, it seems pretty straightforward. Like, it doesn't feel like there's any other real messages that really want to come forward, except that, you've really transformed. I really feel that you've really like kind of you've been in your King of Swords energy, and you made a conscious choice to move from the more airy energy into the more active energy. And what it has done for you was just like created this like unbelievable transformation, this transformation, of moving from air into fire, so, and it is really like, part of this process of enlightenment, right, which is all three of these cards really would represent enlightenment to me, is the ability to master the elements, right? It's about mastering, the king and queen of your feminine and masculine, right? King and queen, feminine, masculine. So your king and queen of swords, your king and queen of cups, your king and queen of pentacles, and king and queen of wands. And so I feel here like you're bringing those elements together. You're bringing like all of these different aspects of yourself, and giving them like each the attention that they need, right? I feel like for you, being in the King of Swords archetype is easy. It's natural. It's comfortable, right? But it takes a little bit more to step outside of our comfort zones and nurture and put a little bit more attention into those aspects of ourselves where it's not as comfortable. It's outside of our comfort zone. It's not something that we're really wanting to do or feel at ease in doing. And so I feel like you've really stepped outside of that into the King of Wands, into the taking action, and it has been transformational for you, okay? And I think it's really important for you to really like take a look back at where you were 5 years ago, and and look at where you are now, and really see how this, because being in it, like, you may not really recognize transformational energy, right? Because it doesn't necessarily always come on like that, right? It's not like a black and white thing, like one day you're one person and the next day you're completely something else. It's a process, and it's a gradual process a lot of times for many people. It can come on suddenly, right? But I think for you is like, I'm kind of getting this feeling right now of like, you're like, nah, that's not me. But if you really go back and look like 5 years at where you were then compared to where you were now, I feel like it will become clear that you have like really transformed, that you're very different than what you were, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, even 2 years ago, And I think it's really important to acknowledge that, because it's not the easiest thing to do, right? Like, it requires strength, this lion showing up here with the King of Wands, right? It requires some strength and some bravery and some fortitude. And I feel like, you know, that it's really important to acknowledge that within yourself, because when you acknowledge it, you own it and you make it yours, you know, and it becomes powerful. All right. Okay, Aquarius. Yeah, awesome. Super excited for you. If this reading resonates, let me know. Leave a comment or a like. I'd prefer a comment though, because I'd really like to know who's out there connecting. Okay. Alrighty. Love you lots. Aloha.